know if you can hear me. Put one in the comments. Seems quiet again. Like it always is. Right. Well, usually put a little bit of music on. In the old days, we used to put a YouTube video that was allegedly copyright, and then what they do is they pull the rug out from underneath you and you get a copyright strike across. So at the moment, we do this. We got some on this desk. Haven't done a live stream for a while, and there wasn't going to be much chance of it tonight for reasons. And the reasons are I'm going over to Wales to see somebody. Anyway, that's another thing, and you never know, they might even be watching this in a minute. So we'll hopefully have a few come in. It's funny how I was thinking the other day, I did a video which was about every house in England with a chimney could face up to a £300 fine. This is as they basically decided they were going to put the thumb screws on the old people, because basically you need them dead nowadays, don't you really? Because there was a certain man of a certain wood measurement origin who meddled a lot with the American government, and he called these people useless eaters, I think, or useless feeders. If you know what the name is, put it in the comments. He liked a bit of war as well. Well, actually, he liked everybody else to fight his wars, which was quite nice. And his wars did stem back from a small place that's causing a lot of bother at the moment. You get the idea. But anyway, so they were saying that if you didn't manage to, or if your wood chimney or coal didn't manage to emit under a certain amount of smoke, carbon dioxide, whatever it was, that you were going to get stung with a £300 fine. Now, I'm assuming that's every time you got caught. So what would they do? Just sit around the corner and wait for you to light your chimney up every night? Who knows? But it would seem that people have kicked off a bit about this. And so it says underneath here, and I should probably go and read it, but ministers pause ban on wood burning stoves. So they scare the shit out of the old people, saying that your wood burning stove is going to be no good at all, and, well, freeze to death, old fucker. And then just like that, they don't. So let me have a quick read of this and see what they've got to say. Lovely picture of a wood stove, by the way. Scotland. Oh, fucking hell. It's all right, sir. If you're in Scotland, then maybe. The Scottish government has temporarily dropped restrictions on the installation of wood burning stoves in new build homes and conversions. Okay. The Scottish Conservatives, who campaigned against the regulations, described the move as a humiliating U-turn. Yes, because, I mean, they were doing their best to fuck up the old, and it seems that these people have gone back around on it. The regulations, known as the New Build Heat Standards, came into effect at the start of April. They said new homes and buildings were not allowed to use direct emission heating systems, including gas or oil boilers. So basically, what happens if you have a new build and you're out in the boonies? Because I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of these places out in the country have oil burning stoves, for the simple fact that there is no services going into them. Brilliant. What am I doing? Cancel that. I was trying to leave my own live stream. That's great. Excellent. Well done. So, yeah, when we travel around the country doing deliveries as we used to, a lot of places that have this green thing full of oil, and that's what people would use. Or if they'd convert it to a wood-burning stove, as the Reverend Mother had, ideal. But if you didn't, and they're saying in the new builds, because there are new builds out in the middle of nowhere as well, what are you going to do? I didn't notice, but if you have a look around at any of the houses built, say, for instance, 92, 93 onwards, you'll notice that many of them don't actually have a chimney. And some of these new builds I see putting up at the moment, it's like a prefabricated fiberglass brick looking effort that they just stick on the top. I don't actually know why. Is that just aesthetics, or is it a possibility that maybe they could run a flue up there if they need it? I don't know. Somebody in here probably knows more than me about that. Anyway, so that seems to be a thing, but obviously it'd be nice if they did that back in England, because obviously Scotland has a lot lower population. So if they did that in England, that'd be nice. Right. Another story. Winter fuel. I bet this is going to be Scotland as well. Let's have a look. Hang on a minute. What am I doing? Oh, create a free account. No, I don't want to. Winter fuel cut. Fuck me. I tell you what, whenever you go on one of these online paper efforts, it spams the living bollocks at you. Anyway, winter fuel cut no longer necessary as Reeves handed out 10 billion boost. Not exactly small change, is it? Chancellor urged to restore pensioners' payments as government bond sales slow. Okay. Rachel Reeves has been urged to restore the winter fuel payments for millions of pensioners after the Bank of England handed the Chancellor a fiscal boost worth up to 10 billion. Okay. But when you look at it, why would they, here's a thought, why would they take away a pensioner's ability to heat their home, right, and say it's because of money, and yet you can have a load of invading army people who now live in hotels, etc., and they can pay for them. These people have never paid in. These people, a lot of them don't like us. These people are a security threat. These people, personally, I'd fuck them off as soon as I could click my fingers. However, taxpayer, whatever, has to pick up the bill for these fuckers, and yet my taxes won't go to help some old duchess or some old bloke who's paid in all their life. Why? Because the government hates us. That's the simple facts of it all. It hates them, it hates us, and also it has an agenda to make our life ongoingly more miserable by these things that they're bringing into the country, which skin your cat, stab, attack you, rape you, mug you, steal off you, shit in the street. Generally get the idea anyway. So that's nice. It basically, the further we go on at the moment, I don't know if any of you've noticed, but the further we go on, the more I notice that basically they're going out of their way more and more to show us just how much they fucking hate us. I don't know what any of you think. Right, what am I going to put up here? Another, there you go. Subscribe to the channel. That'll be good. So some of you may have noticed there's been a bit of a, well, me doing fuck all at the moment. The new job has taken up a lot of my time. And if you remember, I went to back on the happy pills so that the anxiety thing was cured so I could take my motorbike license and pass it. We have. And now we've come off. So last week was spent enjoying the experience of coming off the tablets, which I have to say, I didn't fucking notice. Wasn't like going on them. Good God, that was awful. Fucking 3 days flat without any sleep, and the rest of the week not really sleeping. Not for the faint-hearted. But anyway, so we've fucked that off, and once we settle into this job, because at the moment this job is all over the place, you're not just lorry driving, you're driving machines, you're picking up equipment, you're doing recovery, you're sometimes laboring, you're doing all sorts of stuff, which is interesting. Somebody said, you look a lot better, Simon. I can't be honest, this camera's fucking shit. Well, it's not the camera, actually. It's when you go into whatever this is, StreamYard. Because if you was to have a look at, I wonder if we can do that. No, I can't because it's on the other thing. But when you plug the cameras into everything else, I actually have better color in me. I don't look green. The whole place doesn't look green. But whatever, it's StreamYard. It's what you get when you, whatever. So there you go. Anyway, I chewed my face off when I started taking them. Fuck me, I did and carried on. We could always talk about them because it's not exactly we're talking about the clot shot, are we? But experiences of going on the happy pills. Mine personally was fuck all sleep and chewing my face off. Hot sweats, itchy, that kind of stuff. And it seems that I've got a mate at the moment who's gone on to medication to reduce his blood pressure. And it's got some adjustment thing that it does with the way you think. Oh, Betsy's in the house. Well done, son. Well done. Betsy, I've bought a ZZR 1400. I can't ride it because there's no fucking green slip with it. So we're still waiting for that. But at least it looks nice in the garage, collecting dust. Right, back to where we were. So he's taken this thing, and apparently what it does is it changes the way the brain emits chemicals to harden up your veins. This increases your blood pressure, allegedly. So he's taken these, but his mood swings now are up and down like a Japanese sniper. Literally, he's 1 minute, he's, oh, I really want to die. Well, he doesn't say that, but he just sounds like he does. Then the next thing, he's bouncing off the fucking ceiling, right, and wants to go out and do 100 things. I said, I can't be honest, mate. Are you sure you're all right on these fucking things? Because you sound like you're bipolar to me. He went, really? He says it's knackered. And I said, well, that's a small glimpse into what bipolar is like when it's, you know. Anyway, oh my God, you fucking nutter. Yes. I still got the Bandit though, and I'm riding that at the moment, so that's all good. Anyway, so how many we got? 239 on a non-announced ghosted channel. So what have you been doing in, hang on, I haven't finished off that part yet. I'm all over the place, aren't I? Yeah. So basically when I'm hoping that in a short while, this contract that I was meant to start on will carry on, and I'll have a lot more time in the cab. Also, when you take those medications, a lot of the time you just don't give a fuck. It knocks off all the highs, it knocks off the lows, and you really couldn't give a shit. I didn't like that. I didn't like, there were times when I was a bit down, and you could be tearful when you look at stuff. But actually, was I down, or am I reacting to what's going on out there, what's going on in the world, and other stuff? And also, if you watch something, say, for instance, on YouTube with animals, fluffies, that have been rescued, and then they all of a sudden turn lovely and you get a bit tearful, that's human. That's actually having some feelings. Do you really want to get rid of them? That's the thing. And also, for a person that to be honest, I mean, I don't mind talking about my shit on here, right? So to say me, I while I was on medication, I had the sex drive of somebody without any fucking sex drive. I can't find an analogy that would go near it, but basically I had no interest. So there was no need to get a girlfriend. Anyway, you come off the tablets and you think, well, you know. Anyway, going back on them, first thing you hit, sex drive, can't be bothered. And you think, this isn't no good. But as I say, the bike license has been achieved. And I'm not the only one struggling with it, right? This new bike license thing. I have one mate at the moment who's going through exactly the same thing as me. And this bloke can do the same stuff that I can, all right? Yeah, there's no problems with his driving, and yet he's having a problem with it. But anyway, you're not racing the beach race this year. What, is the race still on, or is it just you're having a year off and saving up for all the Bostock's in the house? Hate being at work when you're live streaming. At some point, Shag, I will sort it out. I will get a Saturday night. Maybe even when she comes over here, the lady, might be able to do one, and she can just get pissed over in the corner, and I'll do 2 hours or whatever, and then whatever. So, but anyway, she's one of us. Yes. She has not had the interventions. She has a spit and sawdust pub that the people in there are fairly real. So they're not all the woke wankers, which is good. And yeah, Rev, I think you will find it's the woman who don't care. Okay. Antidepressants made you depressed? Yeah, at times, yeah, I suppose they were. Yeah, because I mean, you just see, what have I got to be on these? Why am I flat as a witch's tit? You know, all of that sort of stuff. But I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody to come off or come on tablets. I'll just tell you how personally it affected me. I did 18 years on these things. Yes, and sometimes they did help, sometimes they didn't help. But to lose your sex drive from about 35 onwards is pretty shit. And you just didn't care. You really didn't give a fuck. And that's not good. And when I look back now, there's parts of my life I can't get back. And you think to yourself, I was single for X amount of years. I was getting my shit together and, you know, get my bills paid, find out what Simon likes and all the rest of it. But the other day I had a cuddle. I woke up having a cuddle, right? Somebody in your arms. I've got to fucking say, you can't buy that. It's, I can't explain how fucking great it was. No motorbike can come near it. All right. And I mean that, although fucking hell, they're good fun, right? Rallying, they're all lovely. They're all great at the time, but nothing gives you that feeling where you recharge yourself when somebody is in your arms who wants to be there, you know? My wife keeps my sex drive in a box on top of the wardrobe. Alan, it's like, give me the nuts. You won't be needing them, and I'll keep them safe over there. Should you need the nuts, I'll bring them out and you can have them back. Yeah. So that's Alan. Morning glory. Is that excellent? Keep waking up with it. When it goes away, you'll miss it. But there you go. The only thing is, as soon as you come off the tablets, it comes back and you're like, but I'd rather have that. Simon, you bang on, mate. Love the way. I'm having too much fun here. And I'm sober. This is sober, by the way. I didn't go out last night. I thought, fuck it. We'll be in good form for later on. So we're doing a track day. I'm not going to get into the motorbiking thing, but it's just something different. So we've got to work out how we're going to get the bikes up there on the back. So I need to get a trailer. So we're going to do that today, but it's pissing down. I've lost my car to my daughter because her boyfriend has got a fuck car. So, Dad, can I have your car? Yes. The company van's up somewhere else at the moment because of reasons. So, yeah. And I am not going out in the pissing down rain, I don't know about you, on a fucking motorbike. Bollocks. So it's back to the original trusty van that we went on tour with that I've still got. And sleeping in. Having a pajama party tonight. Well, I say pajamas. I haven't got any. But anyway, we're going over there and staying in the van. Well, we're going to get in the van and just drive around and maybe end up at a lovely pub somewhere and see how it goes. Simon Phoenix doesn't give him. Yeah. So does anybody want to ring in? Because if they do, I could always get the phone connected. Up to you. Let me know in the comments if anybody's interested. Wouldn't it be embarrassing if she rang in? She won't. Rev, you need a Capri in your life. Yes, I do. But that can wait. The new job is more pay, but it's a different pay structure. They also pay you on a Monday because I didn't realize in the industry, building industry, when you give some of these people who are great at doing building, very skilled, but you got to handle them, that when you give them all their money on a Friday, they go on a bender all weekend and you don't see them Monday or Tuesday. And when you do, they're absolutely broken and pay the bills. So I hear now that they pay the bills on a Monday. So they pay you on a Monday. So you've got your money all the way through the week. When you're working, you pay your bills, and it's manhandling, I suppose, in the best sense of the word. Right. Should we go on to a different story? Met police officers handing in tasers and firearms. So apparently they're still at it. Apparently they cannot get people to hold on to, because you take the course to do your firearms, or you take the course to do your taser, because a taser is not too far off a firearm in some ways, in the way they look at this shit anyway. So apparently, because when they actually do have to pull their weapons and actually shoot somebody because of reasons, they don't get the support they should do, and some of them end up going to prison. So I know that if they shoot somebody and they're wrong for shooting them, there has to be a penalty. I get it. However, you're asking somebody to do a job and do something in a split second. This is one of the biggest problems that they had in Northern Ireland. They had this thing called the yellow card. And it said that when you could and you couldn't fire upon people. And I watched this one documentary. It's funny. It's this fat Welsh bloke, right? Obviously he wasn't fat back in the day. He said, what you're supposed to say is stop, halt, stop, or I'll fire. And then you fire. He said, fuck it. I just fired first and then carried on saying it. He says they weren't going to fucking stop. And there were people with pipe bombs and guns and whatever it is. So, but yeah, you could. Have you pulled a barmaid? No, I've pulled a landlady. Or she pulled me. Anyway, so yeah. So you've got people at the moment within London going, do you know what? You know, I'm not going to go to prison for doing my job. Fuck that. So they've handed back in their firearms, their tasers, and now the place is significantly more dangerous because more and more people on the streets in all of our cities, not just London, have weapons on them of some description. I mean, you're seeing these little pricks riding around with their balaclavas on, right, trying to taunt people on motorbikes or saying, I'm going to take that. And they've got no number plate, no crash helmet, and they think they're little gangsters. I had this feeling about, when you think of something that you shouldn't think, probably, or it's not legal. And I had an idea of doing a Babe Ruth as they come past. Now, some of you will know what that means, all right? And fuck the little bastards, right? And they say, oh, we shouldn't chase them or they get killed. Probably the best thing. Because these pieces of shit are going to grow up to be an absolute fuck on society. Nobody wants them, including the parents. They're damaged beyond belief. They're no good to anything. And fuck them. If they go flat out on their bikes and they go and they're getting chased and they hit a car, good. Now, you might think I'm heartless and, oh, well, that's somebody's child or brother. Or fuck you. Tough shit. You brought up a prick. You brought up a piece of shit. Fuck you. Nearly went off on one there. Just hold it back a bit. Sorry. And on another story, reform. Farage doing his usual thing. Start something, not finish. I imagine that kid never finished his breakfast as a child or his tea. I don't think he could finish the missus off. But he sure is, as Alan puts it, political contraception. This guy starts all sorts of things and then just fucks off. He wanted to be an MP any which way he could. And this is a bloke, right, that, as I consider it, is paid opposition. Now, a lot of you go, oh, that again. How many people start, say, for instance, in YouTube or start in politics, and these people, when they take a certain type of money, what they do then is they all come out with the same bullshit lines. I'm this, I'm having this done to me. This is it. I'm trying to do all this for you. And what they also do is trying to convince you that they are right wing, they're with you, they're for values and stuff like this. And what they actually are is nothing but paid opposition or a paid actor to make you believe, to hoodwink you, to waste your time while you're putting your time and effort and loyalty into these people who eventually will turn out to be wankers and shit on you. Not forgetting what Farage has said about us like in the past, racist, bigots, all the rest of it, right? Somebody said here, the original Joe Blogs, that Farage is in it for himself. This is sad. There's no coffee. Itchy nose. But there are others like it. Now, excuse me a second. Fucking hell. When you get older, you get grey hairs that are like that. And every now and again, they go, oh, you want to talk now? Hi. Not good. So Lawrence Fox had a chat, I think it was on Twitter, with, it'll come to me in a minute. I'll probably get a notice in a second. The good guy. The guy that, fuck me, why am I having a brain fart at the moment? Somebody will say it here, they'll know. But he debated a guy I wouldn't say he's totally at that, but you couldn't blame him. Steve Laws, that's it. No, I like Steve. And Steve's like the nice guy of the right. Says it as he is. He's not a highly polished person at all. He is just meat and potatoes. And you know that when he's saying something, he means it, which is nice. Now, this is a bloke that watched for years the scum coming in on the taxi service from France, sticking their fingers up many occasions, wearing better clothes than we could afford, and just being whisked off on top of the range coaches to a lovely 4 or 5 star place to live a better life than ex-servicemen, old people, ourselves even. Got a mate at the moment, and he's starting to try his own business in a chip shop, and basically he's having to work during the day with me, right, and then finish work and go straight to work at night. And he said to me, he says, why am I working 7 days a week and I haven't got a copper coin in my pocket? And yet there are people who do nothing that have a lot of money in their pocket. And I said, because you're the wrong type of person. Probably the wrong color, certainly the wrong gender. And you're capable of working. So you'll get no help at all and they'll milk you for everything they can. Turns out that the people that they're bringing into this country, they know what they're going to do in the long run and what sort of harm they're going to do. So these people who are engineering our misery in the future, if they're going to do that and they hate us and they want to ruin our country, they're not going to look after anybody in it. Certainly not anybody who's going to try and make it better, which is why you lot feel isolated a lot of the time. Many of you will go to a pub and you'll look around at a load of these chinless wanders, these vegan lefty wankers or whatever it is, and you'll just think, I'm on my own here. The other day, because the other thing about when the tablets stop, your brain goes on flat out. So you've got music going on in your head, different thoughts, all the rest of it. I went to the dentist and I was surrounded by upper middle class or middle class, mainly women. I think it was one bloke, but he rocked up with his socks pulled right up and had a bit of a mince about it. And I was like, right, we'll just say all women. And these are the ones that when the vaccine, they were all wearing everything. They were having every vaccine going. And they looked at people like me as should be shot, scum of the earth. How dare you? You're putting my health at risk. And the people behind the counter who were serving you, you know, they're all bought and paid for in that respect. And you think, I start having a row with them in my head. Now, anybody else do this? Right? I don't want to think I'm on my own here, but you're looking at these people. You know that they're the problem, because if they'd fucking taken their head out of their ass, woke up, seen the world for what it really is and what's going on, they might, and I only say they might, end up being more used to us, but most of them are self-centered, narcissistic, sociopath fucks anyway. They're more interested about putting their latest picture on some fucking social media and telling everybody how great their life is when actually it's fucking shit. But when you see these people, do you end up thinking they're going to say something and this is my return and they'll say that and I'm going to say this and you end up fucking having a row with the cunts in your head? Does anybody else do this? If you do this, put one in the comments because, I mean, it might just be me. But I don't like being around these wankers. And the problem is, if you actually even went to talk to them about anything, you just know that you're going to get this blank, dumb fuck expression. I'm not on my own here. Thank fuck for that. We're all getting it. Betsy's there. Yeah, the whole fucking lot. Right. Cool. Right. That's nice. So, yeah, Smiler's there. Yeah. So basically, we'd all be better in one pub together where we're surrounded by our own kind, and then we could have a meet. And this leads me on to the next thought. And we'll see how well it goes. And if it does, then maybe we'll have a place one day to meet up that can't be cancelled. But we'll see. Don't talk to simpleton. They are. A lot of these people, you think to yourself, you're actually pretending to be an intelligent species when secretly you're thick as fuck. You've gone gormless. You're weakened by, the shit that you've done. And I don't want to be around you. I actually look at you. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. We'll see what we'll go for a 2 for this answer. Does anybody else look at these people and think you're the fucking problem? Without you, they couldn't get away with what they're doing. You have made my life worse by your either stupidity or your denial or all of those things. The fact that you didn't do anything because it was easier to be this fucking person who went along with everything to try and look good. Fuck me. Here we go. Here's the 2s. God, this is therapy for me. I don't know if it's therapy for you. Do you find that when you look at the comments and think, I'm not on my own, do you find that therapeutic? I do. I was actually thinking at some point that maybe if I'm going over there and the lady is working, then maybe I can take some kit over in the van on a Saturday night and then do a live stream then. So it's a thought. Yep. Yeah, here we are. Here's the therapy. This is all good to know. So is there anything that you'd want me to talk about? Is there any topics that you want me to talk about at the moment? So, and let's see if this phone's on silent or if anybody's actually tried to ring. Nope, they haven't. So let me see if I can connect that. And then see if it connects. Of course, I'll be fucking incredibly lucky because Bluetooth. Search for. Well, we seem to be paired. Who knows? So if anybody did feel like ringing in, you can, and you can ask me anything you want. Near enough. Just don't get me banned. Sheeple even. Yeah, I see you've been doing some interesting live stream Smiler. I've seen the titles. I haven't actually been able to watch them because I've either been coming in or going or whatever, but the title was interesting. Rev, you got Oasis tickets. No, I'd actually sooner slam my nuts down with no anesthetic than go and see that. So, no. I mean, it's not, I never liked them when they were around originally. I just thought they were a bunch of surly pricks. They came to Western, give it the big, and they got filled in. So, there it is. I mean, I think they were only up when they had their their security around. But, yeah, they just look like a leery little fucking wannabe hard nuts. Is it a slow morning? Well, it's for fucking me, mate, because it's raining. And what choices do I have this morning? Do a live stream or go shopping? Well, wasn't much of a choice, and I ain't going to do one tonight. So I'd rather go and see an Oasis tribute gig. What? Because the people doing it are probably not so far up their own ass. I don't know. You tell me. And maybe the pictures of one of the Gallagher brothers with his arm around Savile. So yeah, rather not. Anyway, what else have we got? Let's have a quick look in the news, see if there is any interesting news. And if there ain't, what was it? Israel kills elite Hezbollah. Oh, fuck me, those lot can carry on knocking fuck out of each other till the cows come home. Warning issued for lightning and rain in England and Wales. Brilliant. I've got to travel through that in a bit. That's shit. Starmer will no longer accept donations for clothes. Sorry. Do I even want to read this? Union clashes on rule changes and what looks, because Labour, here's the thing, right? Labour is originally made for the worker to try and help the worker have a better set of rights, to have him have better conditions and stuff. Funnily enough, set up by 3 Jewish, I think, men back in the day. And they were for it was like a socialism type thing for the working class. Funny that, because I was watching that film Stalin the other day, pretty dark, but they're all talking about how they wanted to do what's right under socialism for the working proletariat, right? And they all had the same idea, but the people just end up getting fucked over by Stalin. But Keir Starmer pretends to be a socialist. Now, how could you be a socialist and fuck your people over as hard as that? And also, how could you be a socialist and have quite as much money? I mean, isn't socialism about bringing everybody up from the bottom? But what actually ends up doing is bringing anybody down from the middle or the top down towards them, unless they're part of the gang. Mr. Pimlico Plumbing, he's the one that looks like a cheap Rod Stewart, is on about fucking off to another country and taking his money with him because capital gains tax. But this is the thing. Labour has these great ideas and other people have to pay for it. And that's the problem with socialism. Socialism wants to give everybody stuff, but somebody has to pay for it. Where do they get the money from? So they think, I know, we'll just tax the rich. Great, that's a great idea. But without the rich, if they take their companies and businesses, that means there aren't jobs. I mean, I don't like the fact that there's people out there that are like multi-billionaires, right? And the fact that there's so many people on their ass living on the streets. I don't like that, but it's not that I don't like rich people. It's just, why is it the one man has to have, I don't know, hundreds of millions of pounds or even billions? I mean, we can't spend it. It's not realistic. So the difference in wealth over the years has got biblical. And it seems that the famous people are made rich, but they're also owned and they're made to go along with the script. And the other thing is, things like this P. Diddy and people like that, is he a degenerate? Or has he come up with some information and they've decided they're going to bury him? Or is it just the case that these rappers and singers and all the rest of it are handpicked for their... Yes, they can sing, a lot of them, some, not all of them can. But are they handpicked for their degenerate ways with complete lack of morals and then put out there in front to garner the support from the youth and, you know, my age group and whatever it is, and we'll all focus on them. When they turn out to be fucking wrong as degenerates, maybe we think maybe that's the way to be. Well, I wouldn't, you wouldn't, but there are people out there like that. Okay. And it makes you think that, are all of these people that come from nothing and shoot to stardom, are they pushed there? Are they supported by a group of individuals who want to use them to push a certain narrative, whether it be them all of a sudden they turn all their kids trans when they're pushing that thing? Or is it all about getting them on drugs, right? And then making out that that's glamorous, getting them a drink problem maybe, or talking about all their failed partnerships and the amount of sex they're going to have. Taylor Swift, she was one of them, I think it is. All she talks about is how many fuck ups she's made in her choice in men, and she endorses somebody as a candidate to run for. Why are you going to believe a woman like that who's made a career out of poor choices and bleating on about how hard done by she is when she says, you've got to go this way? And it's like, fuck that. Whatever you come up with thinks a good idea. Perhaps I might not join. She'd be the ones fucking selling first class tickets on a Titanic. Well, actually third class, because they were definitely going to die, weren't they? To be honest. But there it is. Right. Well, if nobody wants to ring in, which is fine because it's early doors. And does that number even work? Yeah, it should do. I shall probably wrap it up unless you've got any questions. So I'll have a look, see if there's any questions, and we'll go from there. Who owns the rappers? Who produces and distributes their filth? Who was the one that Hitler tried kicking out because they were distributing porn back in the day? What type of people, 5 families, own 250,000 separate media outlets worldwide and all sang off the same hymn sheet? Who were the ones that decided that some news you didn't need to know or some news you did? And as a kid growing up, and I don't know if any of you remember this, but they started to decide to tell us that certain things around the world, news-wise, were too distressing for us, so they didn't show us. That's how it started, the censorship, well, was part of it. Michael Jackson upset the lumps of wood and paid for it. Yep. Kardashians. Yeah. They're fucking something, aren't they? And how many women now have gone and got their ass blown up to look ridiculous? I'm looking at people that I went to school. Pornhub, there you go. A rabbi owns Pornhub. What does that tell you? Okay. You know, so there's certain people that I went to school with, right? That when you look at their Facebook page, they're women, right? Well, there are some men, you know, the ones that have gone off and got their teeth done in Turkey and all the rest of it. But I look at them and I think, you don't fucking look at all like your pictures. You're a lying fuck. And the only reason I keep them as a friend is just to see how much worse they're going to get. And I use them as a way to guide me in understanding how bad things are getting. These are the people that are proud to have, you know, the most camp kid, that they've all had their teeth done, that they've all got the filters on, that they all look like they're straight off one of these TV shows, that you know that when you see any one of them in the morning, they're going to look fucking awful. And that without all those filters, didn't stand a chance. And this is something that's been pushed by the system. Lie about yourself, because that's all it is. A filter is a lie, all right? You don't look like that, so why say you do? You know, and when somebody goes and gets their ass blown up because it's the latest thing, that shows that you're mentally incapable of being like anything else but told what to do. It shows me that you're so simple that you will harm your body because somebody tells you to. You know, when they go and get all these fucking lips blown up so they look like a puffer fish, you're like, nobody in their right mind in the 80s would have done that. I mean, it was bad enough in the 80s that people had this fucking spiky hair shit. It looked awful. It was bad enough in the 80s that they had earbands, like earrings, that Russian gymnasts could use to practice on. I mean, stonewashed jeans weren't exactly fucking great. Then, like, stuff that literally they had tongues on them, these fucking trainers we had, and you could lick the fucking floor with them. Right, let's have a quick look through and see if there's any questions. Who owns OnlyFans? Let me guess, Lumps of Wood. What about Pelosi's bloke? He's quite a character. Mind you, Pelosi's quite a character, isn't she? When you look around some of those people, you think to yourself, how many people have met an untimely end because of you lot? Is it the Golds, the Steins, or the Bergs? Pure speculation, right? Oh, really? Oh, dear God. It does seem to be a certain collective of people. There's certain ones that can't stay in a pub very long without getting booted out. You know the ones. I hate even having to talk. Mohammed Al-Fayed Harrod's outing abuse. Strategic outing to me. There is a bigger picture behind all of that. So are we saying that Mohammed Al-Fayed wasn't using his position of power to abuse everybody and say, I know where you live, I know where your kids live, and you'll never work in London again? I mean, the guy's dead, so you can't even argue back now, which is a shame, because I would have liked to have like got him to a position where you could actually. But I think that he was an opportunist. I think that he used the death of his son for his own gains. Obviously, he would have been upset about the death of his son. Anybody would, but he did manage to make things work. Tom McDonald, a rapper who is independent and produces his own stuff and promotes his music. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I like this actually true green roots rather than astroturfing. Now, I think I've talked about this before. Astroturfing is some group of people, the same ones we've just been talking about. And what they'll do is they'll get some other people together and they will bring them up fast and they'll pretend that they were green roots, and then they control the opposition. We've got quite a few of them in the movement, all right? And there are many people that will come into, say, for instance, the YouTube movement and whatever, that will get approached. Not maybe straight away. They have to show some sort of acumen, like people like them before they get approached. But at some point or another, they will be approached and they'll work out whether they're for sale. And there's a lot of people in it that will pretend they're proper patriots. But when they say, well, we can make you X amount of money a month, and all you've got to do is just follow our direction, then there's many that will. There are a lot out there that do. And you'll see them, they'll all network with each other. And they'll all end up going on each other's things and talking to each other. And they're all a safe bet because not one of them is going to step out and say, well, who's the one that owns the banking system? Who's the one that pushed the pharmacy or pharmaceuticals? Who's the one that pushed the jab? Who's the one that's engineered crashes, coup d'etats, election riggings? Who's the one that gets America to fight all its battles? And it keeps going like this. So These people will never talk about that. But what they will talk about is Islam, because Islam will be the enemy. And it's great to talk about that because, to be honest, there it is. Now, you can all say who you think is already bought and who isn't and all the rest of it. And I, at this point, will no longer go on about it because I think you're all clever enough. All right. So you put in Rockefellers, they're one of them. There are a lot of them. But anyway, yeah, going back to YouTube, these people, their channels will grow fast and they will get everywhere. And yeah. And say for instance, Tusi, right? I'm being attacked, they're after me. Tommy used to say that, and he was actually, there were people generally after him, so that's true. Katie, another one. There will be other ones, but they'll follow this structure where they won't talk about Israel. They won't ever talk about touchy questions like that. They'll focus on Islam, where it's going, and many of them, like the one over in Australia and all that, will all say they're coming for me, they're going to take me to court, or they're going to do this to me, and you've got to help and make people feel sorry for them. And what they'll do is they'll dry out the charitable purses of people in the system so that anybody else doesn't get a look in. But anybody who's in this for the right reasons won't be asking for cash unless, I don't know, they provide something for you that's worth asking for money for. But just talking on YouTube and stuff like that, I don't think that that's worthy of being paid for, because you do it because you like it, or you do it because you believe in what you're saying, or you do it because you want to get your opinion out there and see if you're validated. As so much as if I say something to you lot, I ask for your opinion. What do you think? Do you believe in this? Do you feel this? And all right. And you'll come back to me. And I started out ranting. It's a bit like you start shouting at the camera or whatever, and then the camera replies to you through what you're doing here now. And that gives you, right, I'm on the right page, I'm not alone, and then you'll talk to each other. And to be honest, that was the biggest reward you could get. But there will be loads of people that will be approached, and money is the root of all evil. Now, as I said, I was approached years ago in a hotel over in Ireland. And when they say that Paul Golding was on 11 grand a month and we could get you about 8 grand, and you say to them, I'm not interested in money, they look at you as if to say, there's something fucking wrong. But when they realize you're not, then they've got to look at you and think, well, this could be a problem, this person, because if they get big and people listen to them and they work out what we are, you're fucked. So you get people who were grooming you, which I realized back in the day, I was being groomed by a certain group of people back then. You know, they put a Bible in your hand first. Now I am, you know, Christian. And they want you to talk about this and that, but you cannot talk about that topic. And the moment you do, they come out and they blast you as an anti-Semite. That's the first thing they do, right? And then they all pull up the drawbridge and they want fuck what we'll do here. Now, have they been told to do that? Are you being watched? Well, the answer is, of course, you're being watched. But they'll still sniff around every now and again and see if you've changed, or if you can now be bought, whether you're tired, whether you're sick and tired of having your channel going nowhere or not being able to do this. And, you know, if they come in now and speak to you, would you go, fuck it, all right? Answer's no. By the way, in case anybody was watching that knew these people, no. I would rather wipe my channel now than ever fucking sell out to somebody who's really, well, basically connected to these people that we're actually trying to call out. But that's just me. What's it say here? Yeah, all that he does is adverts and begs for money. I am sorry, subscribe because of it. Yeah, fair enough. Starmer is the definition of evil. Yep. I might do a happy dance now. I know I am being watched. Yep. But you should know anyway. You're paranormal, yeah. Just kidding. Yeah, anybody who has any sort of a platform, they'll be being watched. And the people who basically pay the paid opposition will look to see if they can use you. Because that's all they've been done. I mean, you think about these people, right? When it all goes wrong, these people that they've paid money to and used, or are paying money to, will they take them somewhere safe and make sure they're okay? Or will they throw them under the bus? Well, I think I know the answer to that. I think you do too. So there it is. What have we got? 493 people watching on not even fucking 12 o'clock on a Saturday. Now, a load of you will be at work. When are you going to do a Saturday night live stream? This is a good question. I don't know, is the answer. I'm actually having a bit of a life at the moment, which is unforgivable, I know. But I gave how many years of this? How many years of my life to this where I went out? Well, I didn't go out on Saturday night, or I didn't go out on Friday night, where I did live streams, where I spent a lot more time doing YouTube content and not actually doing much for myself. I've got to the point now where I'm thinking, somebody said, where's Dave? You want to fucking see the size of Dave and Trev. They're fucking huge. Let me see what I can do here. That's Dave. And if I sit next to Dave, you'll know, and that's a side view of him. He's much bigger straight on. And Trevor is now, he started out as that big and about that big. He is now that big, and, well, I can't get him in this. He's half the window. Aren't you, Trev? So we're very proud of Trev and Dave. But I'm going to have to repot those cactuses, which, well, it'll be like trying to give a fucking kitten a shower, won't it? You know what I mean? I'm going to get cut to ribbons, but there you go. Yeah, he has grown. And you know, all you need to do with these plants, basically, is put them near a window and give them water. And feed them from the bottom as well, not the top. That's where I was going wrong. And turn them. Just keep turning them. Because otherwise they'll just go on the piss. I can't show my plants. Show me your plants. You can always put them on your Facebook, mate, and say no over. Dave's moving into real estate. Dave's moving into taking the fucking window over is what Dave's doing. Aren't you, Dave? He weighs a ton as well. But whatever. Yeah, water it from the bottom. Then you don't get the little fucking ticky things hanging around in the moisture at the top. And it also strengthens the roots. Look at me with a horticulturist idea. Dave, what have we got? Just having a look. Spit an image. And Nancy Pelosi separated. Well, that went straight over Rev's head. It did. What have I missed? I just doesn't always go over my head, but this one clearly has. Hang on. Remember, there was an Iraqi government living in London that was all ready to roll out when Iraq was invaded. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine causing a problem, making people believe that these people over there were bad, then going in and invading them. Weed, plants, you plum. Right. Right. I got a back channel here. And yes, she's just let me know that it totally went over my head. You see, the sweet and innocent part of me that doesn't like getting, like, or just doesn't understand. Because my plants, they're road legal, if you like. Not that I've got any problem with the other ones. I mean, let's be honest. Used properly, I think they can be good for you. Obviously, too much. Wherever, will you be Downing Street on the 26th of October? Probably not, to be honest. I mean, if I end up jumping on stage with people who I consider to be paid by the opposition, what does that make me? That's my problem. That's my quandary. Yes, I want to network with people to help do something, but if these people actually are maybe not bad, they are bad actors, do I want to be seen dead with them? Would it also make me look in the future worse for my poor choices for not standing up and going, no? So there it is. I was getting to a point where I think, what's the point? And, you know, because when you look around, as I was saying earlier on, when you look at these people and you think, you're never going to change, you'll just carry on. And you think, why am I bothering? Why am I wasting what have I got? 20 years left, right? Probably. I've got 20 years left of my life. I gave 10 years now to this. And I think to myself, do I want to give the next 20 years of my life to this and not actually do anything of any fun with my life? Well, no, I don't. But I don't want to stop, but I want to get a balance. Now, When we get the green bike legal, and I finally get out of the financial doldrums, because I've changed jobs, and anybody who knows what that's like when you and time off and that and stuff. And people going, "Oh, you say you fucking skint, you buy a motorbike." Yeah, 0% down payment and massive interest rate to repay. That's what happens when you get drunk and you, just for the dare, go on a credit agreement, and all of a sudden it says, yes, you've got the bike, and you're like, ew. I'm sure I like it, but whatever. But yeah, people think that, oh, well, you must have loads of money because you've got a car, you've got this. What did you sell to get that car? So you sold the old pickup, probably made a bit of a loss. But people seem to go, oh, you've got, and these are just the people that want to make you look bad. But the truth of the matter is, I don't have holidays because they just didn't interest me. I don't smoke because I never really wanted to. So where people would save their money up and spend X amount of thousand a year, say, for instance, you get, I don't know, 3 holidays a year. Some people do. That's what they want. Well, you're looking at 6, 7, 8 grand for that money, right? Well, I don't do that. So I'll go and get myself something to sit on and give a handful to, or car that my daughter will nick, which is nice. But it is. I drink, though. Yep, I do drink. I'm looking at some really interesting names popping up here. I'm going to have a blast on the bikes with you. Yeah. Come over, Shag, and we'll get you either put on the insurance, or it depends, you might have insurance of your own. And then what we'll do is we'll take them both out and switch them over, and then whatever. We have a call. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. I think I'm watching you on delayed.
Yeah, what you want to do is probably mute that, otherwise it'll get really confusing when you've got me talking twice.
Are we still live?
Yes, we are very live, yes.
Oh, superb.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
There you go.
Not too bad, not too bad. Just wondering, I mean, appreciate you calling out the paid opposition, but as voters, what choice do we have?
You don't.
We don't.
No.
Exactly. I mean, how do we make a difference?
Right. Here's a thought, right? You know, they've come out with that saying that if voting made a difference, they wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
Right. So assuming
it's true.
With that same breath, they wouldn't let a party come to power that's actually truly grassroots, that has morals, because it would be too much of a threat to the system, which is why you'll never see say, for instance, we'll look at America. We'll take that for example, right? You remember, go back years ago, there was at the time there was Trump running, or we had Hillary Clinton, right? Out of all the people in America, I don't know how many million there are or whatever, those were the two best they could come up with. You know the answer to that, right? So
well, yeah.
So that then beggars a question: why is it that really good people couldn't make it? And the truth is, the group,
because they refused to sell out.
It's yes, that's part of it, but the other part of it simply is this: the people that own the media that lie to you own the ability to basically blank anybody who's any good, not give them any airtime, no screen time, and these people just don't get anywhere. So they're basically, they're checked, they're measured, they see if they're complicit, if they could be corrupted, or whether they could come up and say, we've got videos of you doing this. We won't come out with it, but you'll have to do what we tell you. So that's the problem over there. And it is the same over here.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it is.
So
yeah.
You know, if there was any decent parties out there, okay, they'll get quashed, crushed, wrecked. They'll have the their ability to register, that'll be dragged out. Then they won't get any airtime. I mean, can you imagine, say, for instance, and not that I'm saying that they're good, bad, or indifferent, but we'll take Patriotic Alternative as an example, right? Can you imagine the BBC giving them fair airtime?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would, because at the end of the day, even if you do or you don't like what they've got to say, if they come out with awkward questions, right, and the other people then would have to refute this, if all the other people say, you're racist, rather than say, well, actually, here's the facts, here's the figures, here's what we've got, then you'd know they'd actually touched on something. And so voting, you're only going to get an approved party with a bunch of very shiny wankers in it that are going to do what what they're meant to do. Now, a lot of people would go, but what about him? He seems real. And what about him? He talked about the vaccine. And what about him? He did this. Yeah, they're meant to. They're meant to look good.
Yeah, and they change their mind 6 months later. Yeah.
Well, they might not even do that, but what they'll do is they'll make a load of you vote for that, which will water down the vote of, say, for instance, the Conservatives, and then you get Labour come in. They're all organised, and then they do exactly what they're meant to do, and here we are later. So, you know, it is one of those. So, you know, voting pretty much.
It's catch-22. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, if you don't vote, you've wasted your vote. If you do vote, I mean, put it this way: 1 year I voted BNP, right?
I did too.
I voted Labour once as well. Fuck, that was
no, I never did that.
I was so sick of the Tories, and I knew nothing about politics at the time, so I just went, "Oh fuck it, we'll vote for the opposite, see what happens." That was when I was, I don't know, I was in my 20s or 30s, whatever. I voted UKIP once. I voted last time. I voted for the local bloke,
right,
because I know him, and it was just I could actually say hand on heart that I would trust him to do something. But people say, why did you do that? Stupid. You should have voted reform. If you haven't worked out yet that reform is nothing more than bought and paid for a bunch of fucking players in there, right? Actors, call it what you will, right? That all they'll ever do is give you false hope and then drop you on your ass, much like UKIP did under his rule and others did. If you haven't worked that out, then I give up. I do. But so, yeah, voting won't ever make a difference. And the only thing that's ever changed anything in the past in different countries, and I know I don't condone it, is violence. A violent overthrow of the state is the only thing in the history that's ever changed. But what happens is the problem, that the people who overthrow get bought very quickly. And while it looks like it's a great grassroots thing, these people literally... whether you're one of these people that play the cock with you, play the piano with your cock, or you're one of those kind of people, right? And what happens is you say, right, I know you love your country, or maybe you don't, right? But we're going to make you so astronomically rich that you're going to sell your soul. And these fuckers go, yeah. So you get nowhere anyway. But everybody has this dream that one day these people that do what they do in the background that fund this stuff will get their comeuppance. I fucking fantasize about the idea of one day perhaps something will happen where all of them will get dragged out from their shadows and put on trial for what they've done. But there it is. So at the moment,
it's going to be a long time coming. That is.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever happen in my life.
If they can't see what's already written on the walls and they choose to ignore it.
You think about
as they do at the moment,
how many world wars we've had over the last 200 years. So 1 minute you've got Germany on the side of this group fighting against us. Another time you got the French against us. Then you got the French with us. Then you got the Italians and the Spanish. And then you got, because I was just watching something that Dan Snow was saying. He said, well, World War II was these people fighting against these people. World War I was these people fighting against these people. And there were wars. And these wars have always been pushed. And the people that funded both sides were the same people that are causing all of this shit now.
Yeah, so there's the people again.
Yeah, we'll call it that because it's legally easier to say, isn't it? I think, and that's why that bloke stayed alive. But some people say, well, how is it he knew all of this stuff from such an age if he wasn't actually told to say it? And that's a pickler, isn't it? Because what if he was? What if he was actually telling us stuff so that many of us would wake up and that would cause divide? Because that's all it is. You get people who have woken up who fight with the people that are still asleep. And that's what you see in the film, haven't you? Where he's walking down in the program, he's saying all of these people are plugged into the system, and all of these people don't want to wake up, and they will fight you if you try to wake up.
Life is simpler if you stay asleep.
But here's the thing: these videos, these films that they put at you, is it somebody who's very clever at writing a script that's into sci-fi? Or do they have messages in them to tell people like who are awake, don't bother trying, it's a waste of your time. So yeah, but voting, no, if it made a difference, we'd never get it. I mean, if you look at it, right, why is it at the moment that that they're trying to take more and more choices and options and things away from us and put more and more laws down, and they're heading closer to Like,
well, yeah, just free speech alone is under attack, isn't it?
Because when they're trying to do something that's bad for you, they need to stop you being able to say, this is bad for us. Which is why that anybody who came out and criticized the jab back in the day lost their channel, lost their freedoms, got in all sorts of shit, right? Because it's bad for you, right? You know, and anybody now who talks out about immigration might get locked up. Why? Because that's where we're heading. And when I watched that Stalin film, it was like all of the people that helped with the revolution had to be gotten rid of because they could see through Stalin. Now, anybody who helps get socialism into place will be ruined by socialism because they'll know how it came about and there'll be a threat to the state. In the same way that somebody who leaves the army immediately becomes a person to be watched. He's not an enemy of the state, but basically he's a fully trained person who knows what goes on behind closed doors, what these wars were actually fought for, and he's a problem. But yeah, so I sit here thinking, what is the best advice to give to people? Because as a person who's got 100 and some odd thousand subscribers, it's your duty to try not to lead people down the wrong way and to use what you have properly. And I've been sat there lately going, I don't know what to say. So I've said nothing. I'll ask you a question. If you could do a video about stuff now and put it out and have people listen to you, what would be the most pressing topic that you would want to talk about?
Probably immigration. Yep. So as regards the country, it's the biggest influence on the country at the moment, isn't it?
But what is your I mean, because I think it's the stem of all of our problems. Our £22 billion black hole, you know, a lot of it can you know, be a portion to that, can't it? Yeah. So I think a lot of people have woken up about it, but
no one's got the appetite to do anything about it.
They're either lazy or they're
or scared,
or all of the fear mongering, which I don't think I've known a state that, as it was going wrong, hasn't done. So you look at anywhere that went under communism or socialism, they controlled their people by fear. And you look at what we're getting now in the Western world and what, you know, America, the rest of it are also getting. And we're being scared into, you say anything, we'll take everything you've got from me. So you know that the way they're going now is as bad as it's going to get, as bad as it could be. And that's why they stop you talking about it. So what do? I mean, people know that the immigration is bad, but they can't be fucked to do anything about it. Well, why am I wasting my time trying to wake people like that up if they're not prepared to do anything about it? They're almost like passengers strapped in a bus, and you say, well, further on down the road, there's going to be a brick wall. We're going to hit it. Put your seatbelts on. Nah. And they start, and they're sitting in the wheels on the bus, go round and round and taking pictures of themselves heading towards a fucking brick wall. That's what it seems like. And you think,
with a soft filter.
Yeah, with a soft filter and puffed up lips going, hashtag bus, hashtag crash, hashtag happy me.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. So you think, do I want to waste my time or not? But you know, there's some really good people out there that you think I want to talk to. But
you're not wasting your time.
But
because you're giving people a point of reference, somewhere to all be, you know, be of the same mind, and that's much appreciated.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you don't meet up with people in the flesh and you stay behind the camera too long, you get a bit detached from actually what you're achieving or what you're not achieving. It's only when you actually meet.
Yeah, my buddy got a selfie with you the other day. My neighbour got a selfie with you the other day. You were on his site.
I think I know it.
When you're working for the old firm.
Yeah. Is he driver fault? The pallet truck.
That's the one. Yeah. I'm his upstairs neighbour, so I know you.
Yeah, he's a right lad. I love it. Yeah. He's fucking good egg. He is. Fucking, I wouldn't want to scrap with a cunt, but yeah.
I'll come close.
Yeah, well, you're gonna, because both of you have got opinions, and so, but yeah, I like him. Shame I'm not working up that way, but you never know, I might be in the future. So, but yeah. So
you never know. I keep my eye open for you when I'm on the M4 or the M5.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have a changeover of trucks, but hopefully I'm going to be driving a hook loader. I am driving one at the moment, but it needs to be changed because it's old. Anyway, that's the point. But going back to having a meetup, I've said I was going to do it a long time, but I always came up with the problem of where could I
Well,
do
it sounds like you've got an answer now then, doesn't it? You've got a pub.
Well, I'd have to ask her, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
she
but
is,
it'd be a good night's trade for her. She's not going to turn it down.
no.
No one's going to get to a full pub.
Well, she says that Saturday nights are quiet and Friday nights. Well, fucking winner chicken dinner. We'll have a corner up the way and we'll just have the crack.
Can we kip in our cars in the car park?
Yes, you can.
Oh, that's all right then.
Because that's where I fucking sleep in my van. But no, they were actually going to advertise on TripAdvisor for people with camper vans and stuff like that to be able to park there because it is such a big car park and it's surrounded with trees. So happy.
Sound. Okay. Sign me up. Come out for a night.
Well, yeah, fucking Betsy'd rock up. Well, you come over with me, innit? There you are. But yeah, so I'm not hoping for a massive event. If we have 40 of us sat around talking about stuff, that'd be great. A few beers and, you know, whatever.
I'm feeling it'd be more than that somehow.
I don't know. You just don't know, do you? But the thing is as well, they're all hard cunts in that pub, right? Because it's just a beer pub. It's not a food pub, right?
Right.
So if you had a bunch of woke wankers rock up to the door, good luck. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wouldn't. It's the sort of thing that I wouldn't release the details till about an hour before. So you'd end up having to be milling around.
Right.
Yeah. So an hour before we're meeting to do something. So you'd be, say, for instance,
I don't follow people on Facebook and all that sort of crap.
It wouldn't be hard because you put it out on YouTube an hour before, but you give them the city to be in, right? And a rough idea, and then what you do is hour before.
Then you do the location an hour before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least we know a few days beforehand it's going to happen.
Yeah. So
that sounds doable. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So and it would happen. It would go ahead. It wouldn't get cancelled, even if we ended up doing it out in the fucking street. I don't care. It would happen. So yeah.
Thatcher's at the bus stop.
Fuck it. Worst has happened, mate. But there you go.
Cool.
Right. So what I'm going to do is probably actually get off now because I've got to set off that way. So
all right.
Yeah.
It's nice to speak to you.
And you. So yeah, cheers for ringing in. But I've got to wrap.
I thought I would be the only brave one that rung in today. Just on the off chance it was actually a real phone number.
Yeah, same number as always, but it hasn't been used for a while.
Normally it's engaged all the time.
Yeah, well, at night time, people have had a few beers and they think, fuck it, I'll ring in.
Yeah. Now, I don't ring then because I'm normally a bit too far gone.
So am I sometimes, and I'm the one fucking trying to ring.
Oh, yeah. No, that's more entertaining. Super.
Hang on a second. Rev, I think you've been misdiagnosed. Please check out Myers-Briggs personality types. You're trying to suggest that I've got a personality now? Well done. That's interesting. No worries. All right, buddy. Well, you take it steady and say hello to your neighbour for me.
You too.
And
will do. I will do.
Next one. All right, mate.
Cheers, Rev. I'll take it easy. Bye.
Just make you think, shall I just pack the shit up and take it over tonight just in case? Because I've got a feeling she's going to be flat out, but whatever. We'll see. Anyway, well, look, 510 unannounced on a small channel. We're not doing bad. If I can get something going tonight, I think it's going to be unlikely at the moment because I'm literally just finding my feet, if you know what I mean. But yeah, there it is. Right. Well, I will say thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in and I hope you have a good night. If there is any change to plan, obviously there'll be a live stream, but I can't see it at the moment. All right. So have yourself a good one and I'll speak to you in a